Municipal Council, Urban Council and Pradeshya Sabha Amendment Bill presented to Parliament. Country prepares for the verdict on the Vidya Sivaloganadan rape and homicide case. Tempers flare at the North Central Provincial Council following protest by unemployed graduates. The United Nations publishes a report on the worst drought in Sri Lanka in over 40 years.
Bringing you the latest news from around the world and here at home, I'm Sandro Ferdinando.
And I'm Nicola De Zoiza. We start off with our top story. The 58th anniversary of the death of late Prime Minister SWRD Bandaranaike was held under the patronage of President Maithripala Sirisena today.
The commemoration ceremony of late SWRD Bandaranaike, the founder of the Sri Lanka Freedom Party, was held at the Bandaranaike Memorial Monument in Horagolla. Former President Chandrika Bandaranaike Kumaratunga and Sunetra Bandaranaike paid floral tributes to the Bandaranaike Memorial Monument, following which President Sirisena placed a floral wreath at the monument. The late Sirimavu Bandaranaike, the world's first female Prime Minister, and late Aruna Bandaranaike were also commemorated. Floral tributes were also laid by ministers and MPs of the Sri Lanka Freedom Party, including former Prime Minister D.M. Jayaratne. The ceremony commenced amidst multi-religious blessings and the Anunaikas of the Malwathu chapter, Most Venerable Niyangoda Vijitasiri Thera, invoked the 5 precepts. A sermon was delivered by the Chief Prelate of the Amarapura chapter, Most Venerable Kotugoda Dhammavasa Nayaka Thera.
For months now, News First has been following the court case of the murder of Sivaloganadan Vidya. A murder that horrified the whole country. While we expect the verdict tomorrow, let's take a look at Vidya's story.
Vidya's family was displaced from Punkuditheu in 1990 as a result of the Sri Lankan Civil War and later ended up in Mallavi near Mankulam in the Vanni region. Vidya was born on the 25th of November 1996 at the government hospital in Mankulam. She attended Nallaru Vidyalam until grade 6. During the final months of the Civil War in 2009, Vidya was studying in Colombo. Her family, which was in Vanni and caught up in the brutal fighting, ended up in the Manik Farm camps. Vidya and her family relocated to their native village in Punkuditheu in 2010. She was a student of Punkuditheu Mahavidyalam, studying her A-levels when she died. Her teachers had high expectations for her academic career, and she was looking ahead to becoming a teacher herself or to enter the field of media. Her family described Vidya as a straightforward young girl, always helping those in need. Her friends spoke of a dedicated student with a love of history, destined to enter university. Vidya, a young life full of hope and aspiration. Aged 18, she was brutally murdered.
On the eve of the verdict, Newsfirst Azra San walks in Vidya's footsteps, retracing the tragic last hours of an innocent young girl's life.
This is a Sinna Aliri road used by Vidya every day to go to school here in Punkudutiv. But 50 meters down the lane, she had to face the most dreadful moment in her life.
Vidya was not a stranger to this path, as she cycled along this route to school every morning. On the 13th of May 2015, she never arrived.
This is where Vidya was abducted while she was on her way to school that dreadful morning. This lonely area and that abandoned house will bear witness to what happened to her.
The next day, her school bag and bike were discovered in the washroom of this desolate location.
According to the reports submitted in courts, Vidya was brutally abused and murdered in this very location I'm standing right now. It was also revealed that the main intention of the group of men who abused her was to videotape the entire incident and sell it to an international mafia gang.
In court, it was revealed that it was here, in Periyaladi, where the accused in the Vidya case had spotted her, and a memorial has been constructed in her honor at this fateful location. Vidya Sivaloganathan received her education at Punkudutiv Mahavidyalaya. The sadness still remains very raw as Vidya's close friend talks about Vidya to News First today on the eve of the verdict. The News First team called in on Vidya's family. Her mother remembers happier times with her daughter and continues to grieve her horrendous loss. Although it is customary to give alms after the demise of a child, the parents have strongly stated they will not hold such things until she receives justice. The tears, the outrage, the protests that took place in the days and months that followed her cruel death cannot bring her back. But tomorrow, the country prays that there will be justice for Vidya. We'll be back after a short commercial break. Stay with News First. The Pradeshya Sabha Urban Councils and Municipal Councils amendment bills were tabled in Parliament today by Minister of Provincial Councils and Local Government, Faiza Mustafa.
Although there was a power failure in the chambers while the amendment bills were being tabled, parliamentary sessions proceeded as usual.
පළාත් සභා හා පළාත් පාලන ඇමතුමා
item number 2 municipal council ordinance 1
මහනගර සභා ආඥා පනත සංශෝධනය කිරීම සඳහා වූ පනත් කෙටුම් පත order please දැන් පේනවා දෙවන වාර කියවීම අංක 3
Honorable Speaker, I present the bill to amend the Pradesh Sabha ordinance.
ප්‍රාදේශීය සභා පනත සංශෝධනය කිරීම සඳහා වූ පනත් කෙටුම් පත දෙවන වාර කියවීම
Today, the Bar Association of Sri Lanka issued a statement saying that the procedure followed to get the recently tabled amendment bill passed were completely wrong and it causes serious harm to the independence of the judiciary.
On Sunday, I spoke to the president of the Bar Association of Sri Lanka and asked if there was an issue concerning the procedure followed here, as it was something discussed and agreed by several parties before being taken up for a vote. I told him if there is an issue, I would speak to the other party leaders and give an opportunity to raise his concerns. This is a parliamentary procedure, and according to Article 4, it is something which is decided by Parliament.
The latest edition of Erskine May's book has a different stance with regards to dealing with constitutional matters in the judiciary as opposed to the previous edition.
Eventually, we have to follow Article 4. So we will examine Article 4 and then the standing orders, and because he mentioned it, I will look through Erskine May's latest edition as well.
The other day, the discussion was about an act which would provide a 25% female representation, but later the discussion ended about an act which changes the entire election system. Similarly, if something called a Presidential Election Act comes forth and an amendment is tabled at the committee stage saying that only an MP who has served in this parliament for 40 years can contest the presidential election, would that be right?
This was discussed last week, after which this House gave a 2/3 vote. But that is not the issue here. Those who were speaking here were those who contested twice and were removed the third time, and later removed and took over the powers of the Constitutional Council. So what right do they have? These were matters which were debated in this House, so there is no need to debate it again. Any other ideas may come up in this amendment bill. Whatever you want to say regarding this can be said at the second reading. You do not have to take up another debate here. MP Dinesh Gunawardena raised a different issue, to which we replied.
When the Local Government Elections Act was being amended last month, this Parliament came to an agreement to the amendments tabled in this regard. But the Honourable Minister tabled the amendment in English, but the draft bill in Sinhala has something else. This says that there is no requirement for female nominations when 3 representatives are selected below the 20% quota. But what was passed was that there is no need for female representation when it is less than 3. So this is the other way around. So what is in the Sinhala language is not what we passed. The leader of the House informed the chambers and the party leaders on that day that item number 8, the 20th Amendment to the Constitution, will be withdrawn. Why are you not doing that?
coming up today.
Don't let it be in the order paper. What is the problem?
No, you want to keep it in the order paper. No.
Is this an added weight for you? Let it be in the order paper. We will take a decision on it in the future. What is your hurry? It is the government which decides the government's activities.
The Future of Tourism Summit 2017 got underway in Colombo today. The summit drew examples from the best practices around the world on the theme Innovation, Technology and Authenticity.
The summit was held under the auspices of Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe.
Asia is going to drive the international tourism growth. Don't have any doubts about it. 2, I think, factors have contributed. 1, the Asian economic development which has taken place after the 1970s. Secondly, the millennials, they are changing tourism. And thirdly is being technology, and what matters most is connectivity. So we have to work at connectivity. How do we develop our airports? How do we develop our ports? And the internal transport system. So we will start with the infrastructure. What we done is to build on what we have, and that was rather expensive. In 2015 we had taken so much of debt that our revenue was insufficient even to do debt services. Today, despite a drought and a flood, we are able to get sufficient revenue to service our debts, though we certainly will have to borrow for some of our other needs. But we are improving our situation.
Our tourism industry in the crucial period ahead of us. I say this because we are now on the eve of launching a tourism vision 2025 and a tourism strategic plan for 2017 to 2020. Tourism vision 2025 envisages Sri Lanka to be recognized as the world's finest island for memorable, authentic and diverse experiences.
A showcase of future technology was also held in line with the summit.
Journalists questioned the deputy head of missions to Japan, Kujiyagi, regarding the construction of the Central Expressway.
ඕවා යෝජනා හැබැයි දැන් යෝජනා කරන්නේ තෝරාගත්තේ ලංකා ශ්‍රී ලංකා මේ ලංකා ආණ්ඩුව ඒකේ තෝරපරි දෙක සහයෝගය කරන්න ඕන කියන එක කියන්නේ අපි ඔහොම ඕනේ කියලා කිව්වේ නැහැ ඕවා අපි දැන් කොයි දැන් අපි ඩොකියුමන්ට් කරන්න මේ වගේ මේ අමාරු තුන්වෙනි කොටස ඕවා ගොඩන හදන්න සුදුසු මට්ටමට අවිල්ල තියෙන කම්පැනි කීපයක් තියෙනවා. ඉතින් ඕවා මේ ලංකාවට ඔක දීලා තියෙනවා. ඒ කියන්නේ සර් ශ්‍රී ලංකා රජය කියන්නේ ජපාන් රජයේ ඉල්ලීමක් කරා කියලා. එහෙම ඉල්ලීමක් කරලා තියෙනවා සර්. ඕක නේද කවුද කිව්වේ ඕන? රජයේ කියලා කියන්නේ කවුද? මහාභාරත අමාත්‍යාංශය.
Minister Kiriella expressed contradictory views at a press. The Japanese government made a request saying that Fujita and Taisei had a meeting with their ministers in Japan and that the government said that this will be provided to Taisei and if Taisei wants, it can set up a partnership with Fujita. We received the cabinet approval for this. For the attention of the most venerable Mahanayaka Theras. The third phase is the part from Pothuhera to Galagedara, a stretch of 32.5 kilometers. The value that is spent is 135 billion rupees, that is approximately 4.15 billion rupees a kilometer. That means 4.15 billion rupees will be spent for 1000 meters. If you go by that calculation, more than 4.1 million rupees is spent for 3 feet. There were tenders called. There was, however, a company that was rejected. The cabinet reached a decision and provided this contract to a company that has been rejected. The Japanese government is not involved in this. The Japanese government is not involved. The Prime Minister has selected this Taisei company that was rejected after his tour to Japan.
Villagers of Morogolla in the Valimada Uva Paranagama Divisional Secretariat are in severe distress due to the lack of clean drinking water.
The village, which is located 2 kilometers away from the Uma Oya multipurpose development project, is home to 150 families. Its residents say while they have just one well to sustain their water requirements, it is insufficient. They spend billions to provide water from Uma Oya to Hambantota, but the people here do not have water. The Uma Oya multipurpose development project was initiated during the administration of former President Mahinda Rajapaksa, whose water base was in Hambantota.
A report published by the United Nations states Sri Lanka is believed to be experiencing the worst drought in 40 years. Quoting statistics of the Disaster Management Center, the United Nations in its report states as of 19th of September, close to 2 million people were estimated to be affected by the drought across 17 districts.
The UN report says in March 2017, 1/4 of households were seriously concerned about access to drinking water, with levels of water available for general household use declining. It adds, according to assessments in August by the World Food Programme and the Ministry of Disaster Management, 45% of the communities have reported that their closest reservoirs are now empty, with overall water levels in reservoirs at 18% in the beginning of August compared to 47% this time last year. The report quotes the Department of Agriculture as saying due to the floods in May and ongoing drought impacting the primary and secondary harvests of 2017, the rice production for 2017 is expected to be the lowest paddy production in the last 10 years. It adds, as a result, over 300,000 households are estimated to be food insecure, with many households limiting their food intake and in some cases eating just one meal a day. The United Nations report says the brief intermonsoonal rains experienced in mid-September across various districts are unlikely to significantly alleviate the ongoing drought conditions, which are predicted to continue in the coming weeks. While many Sri Lankans suffer the unforgiving forces of Mother Nature, is it necessary for the country to spend over 500 billion rupees on expressway projects by obtaining commercial loans at high interest rates? Think. This elderly woman, a resident of the Morapatava village, which is located close to the tub-over tank, gazes at the skies with hopes of some rain. The tub-over tank, which has a capacity of holding 15,400 acre-feet of water, today holds less than 30 acre-feet of water. While there remains just one well for the Morapatava village to sustain its water requirements, its residents wait anxiously for water to spew out of the well. Any water that is salvaged out of this well first has to be strained, boiled and then kept in a clay pot for 2 days before it is suitable to drink. Due to the scarcity of water, this family is forced to use just one bucket of water for bathing purposes and use the same water for their laundry. The severe drought has also forced them to abandon the use of lavatories.
Meanwhile, the anicut of the Ambagaha Canal in the Hengamwa village in Kobegane, Kurunagala, constructed through the Gammadda movement, was vested with the public today.
Hengamwa village, which falls under the Kobegane Divisional Secretariat in the Kurunagala district, is home to around 100 families, and their main source of income is based on agriculture. This anicut was constructed in the 1970s in order to provide water for the agricultural activities. With time, the anicut was destroyed, and as a result, the farmers were faced with many difficulties in carrying out their day-to-day farming activities. Authorities failed to pay any attention to the problem. Under the Gammadda 1000 Projects initiative, the foundation stone was laid to construct the anicut on the 25th of July 2017 in order to provide a solution for these farmers. With the construction of this anicut, water will be supplied to cultivate over 100 acres of paddy fields. Gammadda came forward to construct this anicut for the future of farmers supplying rice for the nation, making a huge investment for the economy of the country. The financial support for this project was provided by Jiffy Products SL Private Limited. Staff members of Jiffy Products SL Private Limited and Gammadda team members were present at the event.
It is a very proud day for all of us. All of us at Jiffy Products SL Private Limited are truly proud that we were able to contribute to uplift the lives of these people in the Hengamwa village through profits that our company earned by working hard.
We'll be back after a short commercial break. Stay tuned.
Welcome back. Convening a media briefing in Colombo today, the Unity Through Power Devolution movement commented on the recently exposed expressway scandal.
2
weeks ago, it was the media which spoke about the expressway scam. We said Lakshman Kiryala was making money out of this and that fraud and corruption in this government is double the amount than the previous government. We also spoke about Malik. That same week, the President convened the respective officials and the subject minister and addressed the matter, saying there are allegations against them surrounding the expressway and the flyover in Valikada. He said that if they wish to clear their name, they should convene the media and respond to their questions. The president said the people would understand then who is wrong here, if it is the media or the minister or the ministry. But having said that, we saw how the minister at 2 press conferences got up and walked out when journalists raised questions. We can show you footage of this if you want.
The Central Bank of Sri Lanka states that headline inflation based on both Colombo Consumer Price Index and National Consumer Price Index increased in August 2017, reflecting the base effect of tax revisions as well as higher prices of food items.
Co-inflation based on both the CCPI Economic Research Department and NCPI also recorded an uptick in August 2017. The headline inflation currently stands at 6.8%, which is considered as a high inflation rate. The central bank says projections indicate that inflation will revert to the envisaged mid-single-digit levels by the end of 2017 and stabilize thereafter, underpinned by tight monetary conditions that have been in place from the beginning of 2016.
The price of the basket of goods used by the people in this country has increased by 7.9% when compared from August 2016 to August 2017. There are 2 groups of items in this basket. One is food items, the other is non-food items, and that includes education, health, telephone and transportation. The prices of food items have inflated by about 12.5%, while prices of non-food items have inflated by around 4%. So what we can see is an issue with prices of food items. As a short-term measure, we are trying to solve the supply issue of food items.
A tense situation erupted this morning when a group of unemployed graduates attempted to forcibly enter the North Central Provincial Council complex.
The group in question attempted to hold discussions with the Chief Minister of the North Central Province, citing there was injustice caused to them at the appointment of teachers for the Provincial Council yesterday. Their efforts to meet the Chief Minister were blocked by security. Thereafter, the group in question remained at the premises and staged their protest. They suggest that close associates made the appointments. They claim while the decision was to recruit graduates to fill 704 teacher positions vacant in the province, only 487 graduates were granted appointments.
We came this morning to discuss this matter. They chased us. We asked that all graduates and diploma holders will be given employment to teach. There are people who have passed A-levels who are employed. If this is the case, why can't we degree holders obtain employment? They gazetted this for no reason. They appoint whoever they want. We will continue to protest here until our demands are met.
This footage shows the tense situation which erupted after the police interfered. An individual who was not a graduate and took part in the demonstration was asked to leave by the graduates after a group of provincial councillors voiced their objection over the matter. Our correspondent said that the group is to continue protesting at the location until a written confirmation is submitted.
Dharma Yuddha, a serious movie currently screening in Sri Lanka, was successfully screened in Sydney and Melbourne, Australia today. The movie is also set to be screened in Brisbane, Adelaide and Wellington and Auckland in New Zealand. Due to the popular demand of the movie, plans are afoot to increase the number of screenings in Melbourne. While the movie completed its 75th day in Sri Lankan cinemas today, it continues screening in over 70 cinemas island-wide.
With 2 more days to go until the conclusion of the 5th Asian Indo and Martial Arts Games, athletes from all over Asia represented their respective countries in the medal table. Newsfirst Stephanie Lazarus reports from Ashgabat, Turkmenistan.
With just 1 more day to go for the end of the 5th Asian Indo and Martial Arts Games here in Ashgabat, Turkmenistan, Sri Lanka squared off with a number of countries in the Indo Chess Games today.
participating in the Indo-Rapid Men's Chess Games today, Sri Lanka's Ramesh Weerawardena and Rajendra Kalugampitia's chances of getting to the top of the games were reduced as they were defeated 2-0 by Vice Abdul Khalik and Suleiman Ahmed of Afghanistan. Sami Zainab and Dasuni Hansika of Sri Lanka were also defeated 2-0 by the Philippines opponents Janelle May Frene and Shania May Mendoza 2-0 in the women's rapid team under 23 round 5 match 4. Sri Lanka's Ushan Chanaka established a new national record in the 105+ kilogram men's weightlifting category. He lifted a combined weight of 139 kilograms and 120 kilograms using the snatch and clean and jerk techniques.
World ranking wala first in aya avithiriya me meet ekata අතරම ගොඩක් මහන්සි වුණා මේ මීටර් ට්‍රේනින් කරලා ආවා මේ ඇත්තරම ආඩම්බරයි ශ්‍රී ලංකාවේ නව වාර්තා බිහි කරන්න ලැබුණේ.
And with that, we wrap up tonight's primetime news. Thank you for joining us. For the Newsfirst team, I'm Nicola De Zoiza.
And I'm Sandro Ferdinando. Do take care.
Good night.